And this is just part of the conflicting report that is the Oklahoma City bombing.
It just seemed to roll in on us. I thought it was an earthquake when it started.
You sure are.
It was just a kind of a shake, and then everything started going like this, and I dove under the desk, and then all the glass came in, and the ceilings came down.
Three seismographs at the University of Oklahoma, the Omniplex Science Museum, and in Franklin, Oklahoma, recorded a seismic event lasting 8 to 10 seconds that suggests the possibility of two blasts. There were two energetic spikes. One was the truck bomb, and the second spike was explained away as air blast pushing on the ground or falling debris. But a representative of the Oklahoma Geological Survey stated for the record that this spike was not the result of floors collapsing and that the last 5 seconds of ground motion did not have air blast associated with it. The Khobar Towers bombing in 1996 in Saudi Arabia killed 19 U.S. airmen. That bomb was several times larger than the bomb supposed to have been used in Oklahoma. It left a huge 85-foot crater, yet there was no major structural damage on the simple slab building. What happened in Oklahoma City to cause the major horizontal support beam to fail and the complete failure of these two series of columns on the east side of the building? This collapse was responsible for most of the casualties. The crater, when seen from above, is offset from the major structural damage in the building. For some reason, the official story has inflated the size of this crater.
The bomb, at least I've seen where the reports from the different agencies have said the bomb extended from the cab to the tail of the truck. And one of the things that really bothers me about that is the rear axle from the truck went down and collided with the car in front of the Regency Tower about a block and a half away. The front axle of the truck was hurled eastbound and struck a parking meter about a block and a half away in front of the YMCA building. If the bomb was that big, that rear axle would have been driven into the crater, and instead of being split apart as they were, and the truck bomb itself to me had to be between the two axles. It could not have been over that rear axle.
I was surprised from even the FEMA report and the published reports that nobody could determine what the size of the crater was, and that's one of the things I brought up at the grand jury investigation, is that the crater was half the size that they had proposed in the FEMA report. The crater had a 5-gallon bucket sitting next to it after they had it uncovered, and you could extrapolate from the size of that bucket to the size of the hole as to what the size of the crater was, and it was approximately 16 feet across.
August 24, 1970, it was a Monday morning. Carlton Armstrong, his brother Dwight, and two other perpetrators, Leobert and one other individual, drove up to the side of the Sterling Hall. It was a math research building. Dow Chemical had their offices there. It was federal government as well as the university faculty that worked there. And they had drove a Ford Econoline van stolen from a math professor, laden with 4 metal drums, 50-gallon drums full of ammonium nitrate and fuel oil. The Sterling Hall bombing consisted of 2,000 pounds of ANFO, and it was set off right next to the building. The windows were blown in, the facade was damaged, but there was no structural damage. In fact, the Army Math Lab was closed for only 1 day. In Oklahoma.
See, that's what it comes down to is the explosions. See, this one that was used in the Australia one was apparently the ammonium nitrate and whatnot bombs, and that's why there's not really structural damage. I mean, there's aesthetic damage, but that's due to the airburst. And we see that there's related facts with 9/11 and these events because of the seismograph information. So, yeah, freaking trust me, I'm not listening to you fucking losers.